So that's the water pump drain, or the block drain. Doesn't seem like there's a lot in there, so let's give it some time to drain out. Alright guys, using my bungee cord, this how I was able to install the tensioner back, because if not, you gotta fight with the chain guide in your way with one hand and trying to fit the tensioner with the grenade pin at the same time and try not to have it, you know, pop out. It's a lot of you know, pain. So as you see, I hooked my bungee cord around the tensioner guide. I got as much tension as possible, and honestly I just popped it in. That tensioner went right in. Alright, so that's a tip for you guys out there if you're gonna be doing this. Yeah, that's a good tip. Alright, so it started beautifully. I did crank it up to build up all the pressure hopefully inside the tensioner. So I did that about 10 seconds twice, and I started. So I haven't replaced the silicone on the covers yet, because I wanted to make sure that, you know, this didn't jump time, because when I was trying to get the slack for the water pump, it kind of looked like it jumped, but I guess it didn't. It's running really smooth right now. So I'm going to turn it off, put the clean these covers, put new silicone, fresh silicone, bolt it down and add some more coolant, and that should be it. Alright, so mating surface is clean, so I'm going to get them. Already put the timing chain cover back on, and this is what I'm using again, the Toyota Seal Packing 103. Man, this is some of the best gasket maker that I've ever used, and from now on this is what I'm sticking to. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is what I'm going to stick to. Toyota Seal Packing 103. That's the stuff of life. Look at that. And when it adheres, it stays there forever, man. Yeah, taking this stuff off is not going to be fun. Anyway, question: can anybody tell me if this bolt serves a different purpose other than retaining this bracket for this coolant hose here? I mean, because this was as tight as a crank bolt, and look how big it is. You can't tell me that Nissan made this bracket to be held by this bolt on purpose. Please, somebody who's a Nissan tech out there, let me know. It goes right there. Right? Please let me know that this bolt is not just here to retain this bracket. That would be insane. Okay guys, now that we're done, I'm just gonna give you a rundown of what I had to do on this particular vehicle to get the job done. First of all, I referred to some very good quality videos. I'm gonna link one of them down below. I think that's you know, one of the most effective ones. I watched about 2 and 3 different videos, I believe. One of them was in Arabic, but you can kind of see the gist of what he was doing. But the last one was the best one, I believe. Anyhow, with all that said, this is just, those videos serve as pointers, but ultimately you have to face the beast yourself, and you may run into some of the things that they did not show because of editing, maybe. So on this particular vehicle, as you see, I have a lot of room already without removing the fan. Why? Because I have some aftermarket fan, right? Mishimoto fans. It's very like low profile fans, so I didn't have to remove the fans. That's one. Secondly, I didn't have to remove the hoses, the radiator hoses at all. I didn't touch that. I didn't touch the belt when I was removing the components until it was time to go back in. That's when I removed the belt, because it was just easier. I'm sure you can do without removing the belt, but it definitely makes it a lot easier, especially for the tensioner, in order not to get snagged or not to get frustrated. What else? Drain the block, definitely. The bolt is going to be 12 millimeter. It's going to be recessed right in this little pocket there. right to the right lower corner of the water pump cover, where the belt meets the you know, that little triangle. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I can't point to it because I have two hands, and one is holding the light and the other one is on the camera. It's a camera. But if I can zoom in, maybe. Let me zoom in. All right, so right there, get yourself an extension and a deep socket, 12 millimeter, and then you can get your inspection mirror. You can get to it. Anyway, so I drain everything from there. What else that I didn't show in the video that might be helpful? The tensioner, it's just a pain. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was removing the tensioner, I turned the motor until I had some type of slack there, and then I put a pin, but the pin that I put is loose. Why? Because the way they design these tensioners, the lever, or the lever, however you pronounce that, is a smaller opening than the hole inside the tensioner. The tensioner side of the hole is very kind of wide. So when you get it from the dealer, it's actually, I think it is in a rubber or plastic retaining clip or pin, retaining pin that they put in there, because it can expand and fill that gap. So when you're working with just a regular pin, it has some play in it, and that can be nerve-wracking trying to get this thing out without having the plunger extend. Eventually I just let the plunger extend because it was honestly too nerve-wracking for me, and I didn't want to have the pin drop inside of the engine, so I'll just let it extend completely out, and then I fiddled with it until I removed it. To go back in, I had to remove the belt, like I said, to gain access properly. What else? The tensioner, you can collapse it by holding the lever counterclockwise position and then press it in, basically. So the lever want to go back clockwise. You're going to push it, counterclockwise, and you're going to, apply pressure onto the plunger itself, and it'll retract. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm sure if you have any question you ask me, I'll direct you to something. Maybe I'll get something from online and link it to the video on how to retract that tensioner. And once you retract tensioner, you can put the pin back in. So I showed already the best way that I believe is to put the tensioner back in by using the bungee cord around the timing chain guide, and hopefully yours is not brittle to it's going to break by doing that. I mean, if it does, honestly, you do need a timing job. So that made my life 10 times easier. Before that, I was trying to hold it with one hand, meaning the timing chain guide, trying to push it out of my way with one hand and trying to fit it with a tensioner with the pin in and not have the pin fall out. That was crazy. So definitely use my method when it comes to that. What else? To put the pump in, again, when I was going counterclockwise on the motor to be able to get slack on the pump side, it almost felt like it jump time. Honestly, I was very scared of it. Until I started the car, I wasn't confident that this was not out of time or something, because it really kind of jumped. It's like when you're doing a timing belt job on a cam, when the cam when the cam goes kind of crazy, that little when it flexes basically because of the valve. So that same thing happened to me, but unfortunately for me, it didn't jump time. It was kind of a scary moment right there too. Once the chain is loose, it's supposed to be really loose on that side, and you can get it past that. You can get it past the water pump. You need those two long bolts to kind of basically press the water pump out. I use a universal. Let me show you what I'm using. I don't know if I can get to it. It's already, I put it up already. Oh shoot. Anyway, it's a Harbor Freight pulley removal kit. In that pulley removal kit, I have the perfect bolts that's going to fit here, and they are the black ones, not the silver, not the stainless steel one, the black ones. So Harbor Freight, you can get yourself a pulley removal tool. It comes with a lot of different bolts, and those black ones, the medium-sized black ones, that's what I use. They fit perfectly. Don't force it in there. Take your time, kind of thread it in while you're wiggling the bolt. Make sure you are centered, because if you strip it, then it can become some problems. Yeah. but it wasn't, like I said, too difficult to do. Once you remove the belt, I would definitely advise you that. Again, I didn't have to remove the fan. As you can see, maybe in your application your fan is original fan, which means you will definitely have to remove that fan. What else? Is anything else that I need to share? That's about it. So I put the the black drain bolt back on. Once I install the water pump, I put the drain back on and I filled it up with water to see if I have any leaks before I go any further. And I didn't see any leaks. Granted, I didn't pressurize the system yet, but at this, you know how that goes. Anyway, so now I'm here. I just finished up, and I put some fresh silicone on the timing chain, tensioner cover, and on the water pump cover. So now I'm going to let it sit there for about an hour until it's completely cured, and I'm going to come back and start the car and fill the coolant and bleed the system. And yeah, I'm not sure if they have a bleed screw on this car, actually. Let me follow this line, see if there is such thing on this vehicle. I'm not sure. Probably do some research on it. If not, I'll do it the way I always do it, and which is basically use my that big funnel tool and just let it just run until it's completely bled. Alright guys, so if you have a question, comments, leave them down below. And big shout out to man, I can't think of his channel right now. I would have just shot him out. But if you're looking up this procedure, he's the one that's doing it on the engine that has that the coolant hose are blue, silicone blue. So big shout out to you, bro. That was a very good video. It helped me out a lot. Alright guys,